Good morning, my friends. So, I wanted to start today and give you a little bit of a lesson on how to do stop motion animation digitally. And we're going to do this not with a camera, but we're going to do this using Google Slides. So, there's a couple different ways to do this, and it's honestly much easier on a computer and certainly easier if you have access to a keyboard of some kind, especially one that has arrow keys on it. So if you have access or you wanted to move now to a computer that has a keyboard, this makes it a lot easier. Otherwise, it never is quite as smooth. So when you're using stop motion animation, the idea is that you move the object very slowly. I don't know if any of you ever created a flip book when you were kids, or maybe you used a Post-it note and you drew little pictures and you kind of flipped through them and it made a person run across. It's the same concept. It's tiny movements, and then the eye is tricked into making connections and it looks like they're actually moving between the 2 points. And how we're going to do this is, again, we don't open Slides, we open Drive, because that's where we create everything. We create everything in Drive, and we're going to create a new, in this case, slideshow. Now, once again, why do we love Drive? Because Drive makes us name it. And so this one is animation. Whoops. Animation project, and then as always, space hyphen space last name. Oh goodness, I'm struggling just a bit today. There we are, and we're going to create that. So this gives us our new one, and kind of the easy thing to do in the very beginning is just start with a clean slate. The neat thing about this is as you pinch in all this gray area over here, I think some of you may have realized that when you do a presentation, that gray area just doesn't record. It's not something that shows up when you play. And so if I were to create a shape over here, let's make a oval of a person, and we're going to stretch it out and make it odd. So there's a little body, and we're going to give him some arms and legs. And you see all these little snap features? These make it very, very nice. Now, what I can do right here is I can take that and I can make another one. Or I can, on my keyboard, you hit Command-C, Command-V. And what I've just done is I've created a second arm. Right? And you can see these very cool little snap tools let me do that. And it gives me all of that option right there where I can make sure and get them all in the right spot. Now, if I'm working close, a little bit easier to zoom in. And again, Command-C, Command-V, and then I can just make a couple of those, and I will turn these other two into legs. Walking, walking. Legs. Except one was very, very long. And now he's too short. Okay. So I've given him legs, and I've kind of attached him to his body here. Maybe a little bit. All right, so I've given him legs. Now, let's say I want to give him a head as well, because we do. I'm going to give him a head. Give him a shape. Let's do something interesting like that. We're giving this little head. Change it up. And you can be as detailed or as lame as you want. You can add colors. You can change these colors once you select on the shapes. You can do fill colors. You can change the line thickness and the line color. You can mess with all of that. The amount of detail you want is entirely up to you. I may want to go ahead and add a shape. Maybe I want to. I don't think I want that one. I want. Shapes. Whoops. Nope, not that. Uh-oh. Stop. Shape. There we go. That's what I want. And then I'm going to turn it around. Give him a little smiley face. I'm obviously right here. I'm kind of playing a little bit. I'm going to nudge these things with my keyboard. You can be as creative or as silly as you want. I need to make the line the same color. Again, Control C, Command C, Command V. I didn't want to do that. Undo. Undo's our best friend here for a moment. All right. Command C, Command V. Now I've got a pair of eyes. There we are. Oops, stop that. I just want to move them. This is being difficult. I promised myself that I wouldn't start over, or I would work my way through all these challenges with you guys. And because I promised, I'm not going to give up. All right? Because I want you to know that as you play with these things, sometimes they're just not perfect. Now, why can I spend so much time on this one object and this one little person? Because once I create him, he's created. And what does that mean? You're like, Mr. Holling said, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Well, let me tell you what that means. That means, you know what? I'm going to cheat. You want to see me cheat here? I'm going to take this one and I'm going to Command C, Command V, and then I'm going to try to move him. Can I move him? Yes. So there we got some starry eyes with a smiley face, and we can pretend those are sunglasses or whatever the case is. All right. I promised that I would work through this because I want you to know that you run into challenges, and I don't want you to get frustrated. There are some shortcuts and some ways to fix it, but we're just going to work through it. So I've made the little person. And now what I want to do is I want a copy of this person. Okay, but first I want nope, I don't want to tap in there. Oh, I think I did something wonky there. Oh, I did. I moved him. All right. Do you see how when I held down for a minute, it like did that weird kind of pause right there? What I can do is I can hold down and I want to select a whole bunch of different things. And once I do that, it creates this little blue bar. Now, if I very carefully go through and I touch all of my objects, I have to include every single object. And you see how each of them are getting this blue outline on them? That now lets me know that they are all selected at the same time. I have 9 objects. Right there it says 9 objects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have everything selected. Right here, what I want to do with them is this little symbol is group. And I group them together. Now the cool thing is that is a single object, and I can move it around if I want to move it around. I don't have to worry about the individual parts. Now, here's the tricky bit. So remember I told you that this little gray space over here that we're working on is not seen on the screen. So if I were to play this right now, you can see only part of him's on the screen. If I were to present this, the only thing showing is going to be his arm and his leg right there, arm and leg, because that's all that's showing on the white workspace. Over here on the gray, we can do anything we want. So what I want to do is I want to take him and I want to copy. Stop. And I want to paste. Now I've got 2 of him. So I got 2 of my little guy. And why do I want 2 of my little guy? Because I want to make it look like he's walking. So what I want to do is I want to, once I tap on it, you see it turns to ungroup again. Now, all of my pieces have now been separated again. So I'm going to take his leg and I'm going to move it in here like this. I'm going to keep it about the same space. All right. Now I'm going to go through and I want to zoom in because I want to do this one more time. Oh, and I made his legs too long again. All right. So I'm going to hold down, blue line at the top, tap, 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 tap. Oops. Oh, come now. Be reasonable. Why can't I get his mouth? We need his mouth. We can't just ignore his mouth. That's not okay. Why? Why won't you group together? Oh. Probably because I'm not perfect. All right, well, I'm going to group those. And you can see my mouth went and disappeared. But that's okay. Because I'm going to, right here, move to front. I'm going to drag him back. Kind of silly, right? I know. Oops. Now, it's easy the more detailed you have. To get frustrated. But I'm going to add his mouth back in and I'm going to group him. Now, how do I know he's grouped? Because his mouth stays on him. Now, I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to put him over here off screen. Like this guy, I'm going to move him off screen. Now, here's how we animate. We take our little guy and we put him partially on the screen, or you can even bring him all the way on the screen, but I'm just going to kind of leave him partially on the screen. I'm going to have my second guy over here. Now, if I were to play this again, you could only see this part of him that's on the screen. Well, what I want to do is I want to take the slide itself and I want to copy and paste. Now I have exactly the same slide twice. Now this is where I was saying a keyboard comes in really handy, because the features, the command, if you are working on an Apple, it's Command C. If you're working on a PC or a computer, it's Control C. That's copy. Control C is copy, Control V is paste. So Mac, if you're working on your iPad, Command C, Command V. So I am going to take my guy here, and on my second slide, I'm going to move him just that far. Now I'm going to line up his head because I want it right there. Now you can see his arm, you can see his leg, and then I take my other guy and I move him out of the way. And then I'm going to click back on my slide, Command C, Command V. Right? This gave me, again, these are just exactly the same slides. They don't move at all. I'm going to take my other guy again, and I'm going to move him exactly the same way. All right? So, and you can see I'm going to work on lining the star up with the side of his head, no matter where he is. I'm going to line star up with the side of head. You're going to find a point, make sure his head's lined up and the top. Otherwise, it looks like he's kind of bouncing across the screen. And then I take my other guy, and I move him off the screen. And what do I do over here? I'm going to go Command C, Command V. I'm going to switch again. Okay. Here we go. So star, side of the head, take my other guy, move him off, all the way off. And then what do I do over here? Command C, Command V. Now you're going to say, oh, Mr. H, this is so tedious. Yes, it can be tedious. And I can also nudge. I'm moving him with my arrow keys right now. So if I move him with my arrows, that little box moves, and it's called a nudge. And again, why it makes it so nice to do that. Get him off there. Now I can put him anywhere off the screen. So I could take him right now, and if I wanted to, I could just move him down here, as long as he's off the screen. Once again, Command C, Command V. And we're going to move dude up here again. Nudge him over till he matches where I want him to be. Take our secondary guy. Oops, secondary guy. Move him down. Now, you may be going, Mr. Hollings, this is so weird. Why are we doing this? Well, this is how a lot of animation is done. Not usually on this scale, as far as using iPads and things, but it is a way that it is done if you are using preset objects. So I could have multiple colors out here. I could have 3 or 4 versions of him, and I would just keep swapping him around. This is legitimately much easier on a computer. So, and I'm going to be honest about that because it's much easier on a computer. Okay. Now, I'm going to move him one more time. And I'm going to swap their places one more time. Oops, I think I moved him. Yep. There we go. Now, what does this do? Well, this looks like this. Did I? And if I were to present that, I'm going to ignore, someone's trying to call me. I'm going to ignore that ringing noise. If I were to present this on the screen and present it on the device, it's going to look like this. And so as I play, all right, and I can run it through, I can walk him on and walk him off. You see, then the reason I did the legs is the legs are going in and out. The more detailed you go, there seems to be a little bit of lag going on there, but it's okay. So when you play it on a computer, it goes much better. Okay, so that is kind of your basic animation. Now, what we're going to do, so we've created a guy. Tap up here, come on. All right, we're going to go down to our last slide, and we are going to make a new slide down here at the bottom. New, blank. and we're going to do a ball, and I'm going to show you how a ball works, and it's very simple. We're just going to talk about smooth movement because that's what we want to do. We're going to take the ball, and I'm going to start it right there. And then when I duplicate my slide, I'm going to tap on my ball, and I'm going to go over 2 nudges, up 2 nudges. Tap my ball again, over 2, up 2. Over 2, up 2. Over 2, up 2. Now, you can still do this. You can do this by dragging, but as you can see, it is so much more efficient to do this the other way. Now, a lot of things, you get too hurried, and instead of clicking the slide, you'll hit Command-C, Command-V, and you're like, I didn't really want to do that. I want to duplicate the slide. Undo. Click on the slide. That little blue box tells you what's been selected. That's what's selected, over 2, 2. Now, it's going pretty quick. And like I said, if you're just moving one object and you're not trying to make the person look like they're walking, All right, I can continue doing this, but I think I'm going to head up and I'm going to finish up through 30. So when I say we're doing a 1,000 slide project, everyone has a heart attack. But as you can see, once you're doing this, it is super easy to just get something moving across the screen. Oops, I did it again. We've moved. We need to do Command-C, Command-V. Click on the ball, over 2, up 2. Where did I say I was going to go? I was going to go to 30. Okay, we'll go to 30. Now, why am I doing this? Why am I taking this time to show you? So I just want to show you that it does not take that much time, honestly. And I wanted to actually do it live with all of my little troubles. Oh, I don't know what I did. Was that right? I may not have gone up far enough. No, I didn't. I think I missed one of my up arrows. Yep. Okay, better. So there's my 30. So I'm going to come up here, back to my 10th slide, and I'm going to hit play on this device. Let that load. And then, oops, I'm going backwards. And if you just hold down the arrow key or the space bar, I get this really kind of cool little movement. Now, ultimately, what you can do is if you're working on a computer, which I usually have you do in my classrooms, I have little laptops that I have you work on. Once you've made these animations, you can download all the pictures and put those pictures into a Google Rush project or a Premiere Rush project and change each of the animation sites to 0.03 seconds. And then you can do that. Now, the crazy thing, this is a crazy thing about animation. You have people who have, when they do this high-end animation, it is 30 frames per second is usually what they run, about 30 frames per second. That means 30 pictures, 30 individual pictures every single second. So if you want to look at something fun, go online and look at Disney hand-drawn animation on YouTube, and you can see them drawing individual pieces. So that's kind of what I wanted to show you here. Now, I want you to play with this a little bit. I would like you to maybe work along with me and do that type of animation where I just did a little person walking across the screen. Oh, there we go. Little person walking across the screen, or a ball going up and across the screen. And you can get to a point at the top where you're like, oh, that's where the ball needs to change. Now, what you want to do is when you get to the top, you've made this nice smooth arc going all the way up. You don't want to go boom and go straight back down. So if we're going to do another slide right here, we would want to do stop the forward movement and just do movement to the side before we started falling again. Okay. And then over here, we just change the direction. So we go over, over, down, down now. And that would be the ball starting to change. And then we move our to over, over, down, down. And then essentially what we've created is a ball that goes up, and then it kind of arcs at the top. You can see how it kind of arcs and moves over at the top, that round bit right there, as opposed to going up and looking like it bounced off the ceiling. Okay. And again, you can make it less steep. You can do 3 arrows to the right for every 1 arrow up, or every 2 arrows up. It's up to you. But that's a pretty steep thing. So it reaches the top and it goes down. All right. Have some fun with this. Play with this today. I'm expecting about 35 to 40 slides today. And just put it together. Let me see it. Make it smooth. You don't need to make your person really complicated. You don't need to give them starlight eyes. Or you could give them hair and all kinds of fun things. It depends on the animation that you want to do. This is the one I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you another app on Tuesday that lets you draw. So those of you who are artists and actually like to draw, this next one you're going to really like. So this is how we do stop motion animation on a computer when you're just using basic shapes and things. Now, I usually show you, but I usually show you there's a show called South Park, which I don't want anyone watching. It's a grown-up, it's an adult show, but this is the style they do the animation. And so if they have someone talking, and maybe I'm going to show that to you really quick. Let me do that. So really quick, if they're having someone talk, if they're having someone talk, we can take our ball and we'll do that. So if they're having someone talk, the easy thing to do is they do a shape of a mouth. Stop moving. Why are you being so difficult? Oh, my iPad is just being super difficult today. We're going to overemphasize. So stop. I want that. There we go. And then they would take the other one and they would move it down to like a line. And by alternating, and that's kind of a cool thing, is if you want them talking, you just do that. You can have people blink in the same way. And the cool thing is all I have to do is take that slide, Command C, Command V, and then I can take it and move that slide down here. Now, here's crazy. You want to see crazy? This is how people get a lot of slides in a very short amount of time. So I'm going to take this slide and that slide, and I'm going to Command C. I'm going to copy those two, and then I'm going to go V, 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 V. What I just did. I took those two slides and I duplicated them all the way down here. All right. I'm going to go away. And then I've basically created those slides that looks like that person's talking the whole time, or chewing, or doing something like that. But you can see how simple that animation is just by changing one shape. Blinking eyes, talking mouths. Very simple. Okay? It doesn't have to be complicated. But if you're going to have movement, like the ball, you want smooth movement. If you don't move in straight lines, no, that looks like the ball just starts talking. Whoa, hi, what are you doing up there? I don't know what's going on. Okay. You can see it's fun. Once you play with it, you'll like it a lot. This is digital stop motion animation. I know this video is long, but I really want you to play with this one today. But there is a lot of fun things you can do with shapes and colors and animation. So play with that. I'm going to show you another one on Tuesday, and have a great weekend, my friends.